Well, hi and welcome. Today we're in Louisa County, Virginia. We're at Hill Farm and we're talking to Susan and Scott Hill. They've got a small farm here raising all kinds of things for the local market. Scott, tell me about your operation. How long have you been doing this?
Well, we generally been doing it for 5 years now, and we market to the Charlottesville area. And we've got four high tunnels that we use in a small hobby type greenhouse. And we also have an open garden here up this end and down the bottom here, where we do cold weather stuff that will survive to a point. With the cold weather we've had here in the past couple weeks, killed my Brussels sprouts plants, but we knew they were going to die off. And we also have several beds in the back that are asparagus, and we have a great assortment of vegetables. A
lot of different things that go into the markets for people to buy. Well, it sounds like the key here during this time of the year when it's very cold, and it is cold out here today, are your high tunnel production areas. And you built all these high tunnels here, right?
Built them all myself, yes I have.
So I'd really love to go see some of the different crops you're growing here. What do you think, Susan?
Great.
Go check them out?
Love to show them off.
All right. Well, Susan, we're in this high tunnel. It's a lot warmer in here, I have to say. Pretty cold outside, a little bit warmer in here. So that makes a much better environment for growing these crops.
Absolutely.
Now, what kind of crops are you growing? I know some of these are winter hardy. What have you got here?
Well, we've been working on finding crops that can handle the cold.
Okay.
That's the secret to growing in the winter, obviously, is find things that can overwinter and can grow in the cold.
Right.
So we look at days of light or hours of light they need, as well as cold tolerance. Okay. So what we have here is a variety, and some of this is still an experiment. These are baby cabbages. We've found that the smaller cabbages do better in the winter because they grow in 53 days as opposed to the big ones, which are 90. Okay? So we're doing well with the little cabbages.
Some of those look almost ready to harvest.
They are. These will be good. These are probably these guys here are about 2 weeks out.
Okay.
These are two different varieties of kale that we're trying. This one is from Italy. This is our standard kale that we grow in the United States, the wild kale. You can see the difference in the cold tolerance. This is not doing as well as the one that we typically grow in this area. Once again, we have Swiss chard. We found that broccoli rabe will not work in the wintertime.
Right. Now these are in raised beds.
Yes.
You're not growing directly in the ground here. So tell me why you're doing this.
Actually, it's considered directly in the ground because this is an NRCS grant.
Okay.
Okay, so there is nothing between the raised bed and the ground.
Okay.
Okay? So, and Scott designed these so that we could control the environment in the beds, the dirt, how much lime we need, whatever. But also, we had to think about the ergonomics of it. I can sit here on this side and work the entire bed from the other side without having to crawl around on my hands and knees.
Oh, that's great. That makes a lot of sense.
Wonderful. And then with the raised bed, you also can put your hoop.
Okay.
These will come out in the summertime.
Okay.
And we can go ahead and just pull it over because the cloth should not be touching the plant.
So right, earlier today, you had the frost protection fabric over the beds, and you've pulled them off because last night it got very cold.
Right, and what we generally do is we do one cover at 30 degrees. Okay. We do two covers if we're going down in the teens.
Okay. So if you're our home gardener, do you see some benefit in maybe having something like that and hooped row covers over your beds?
You could even do it outside.
Right.
So we get 10 degrees from having this big tunnel. That gives us 10 degrees protection from outside. Right. We get about another 10 by putting the cover on.
Okay.
So outside, if you put the low covers on, then you would get about 10 degrees frost protection. But also, the moisture not getting on the plant is what protects it.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So in the springtime, somebody's wanting to get a little bit of earliness. They maybe could put these metal hoops, put the row cover over there, and maybe start something a little bit earlier outside.
Absolutely, and it's a very inexpensive way to do it. You could be starting your crops in February, March, as opposed to waiting until May, and then you're actually getting your production before your worms and things are coming in.
Gotcha. Now, I noticed on the floor here, you've got bark, right?
Yes, actually, it is cedar.
Cedar, okay.
Cedar mulch. This is very slick in here in the winter with the red clay in Virginia.
Right.
And so we tried rocks. That didn't work because slugs love rocks, and we had lots of them. So we came across this cedar, and it's great on your legs, and it also keeps the slugs out of the tunnel. And it lasts about 3 years.
Keeps
not an
the,
expensive
keeps the weeds down too, right?
Keeps the weeds down too.
That's great. That is great.
They don't fall, yes.
Well, this is a really nice operation, and I imagine that as people are in Virginia, if they're finding locally grown fruits and vegetables and things this time of year, it's probably coming from an operation just like this.
Absolutely. High tunnels are coming up all over Virginia because there is a huge demand for local produce in the winter.
That's true. Well, listen, we really appreciate you all letting us come out here today. This is a really fantastic operation. I know it takes a lot of hard work, but it looks really good.
We like to show off growing local.
Great. Well, for more information about winter production, please contact your local county extension office and talk to your master gardener. From the Ground Up, I'm Chris Mullins. We'll see you next time.
From the Ground Up is presented with the generous advice and assistance of Virginia Cooperative Extension. Visit their website at ext.vt.edu.